The drink, we're clicking to the environment. We're clicking to the environment. We're drinking to the environment. Yes.
All right, and we're back. Woohoo! Nice. All right, back with the drink, with the awesome, and just graduated, Bradley Spilka.
Thank
What's up,
you.
man?
Happy to be here.
Cheers to you again, man. Cheers, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Real quick, through my hopefully potential sponsor in the future, whenever that happens, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Haus Brewery down here in Belmar. I'm actually currently drinking a Lighthouse. It's a great lager and awesome beer. They actually do, in fact, support environmental initiatives. And also another quick shout out to My Brittle LLC. My friend Casey is an entrepreneur herself, and she actually makes her own peanut brittle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So she makes her own peanut brittle. She has her own what's called a different recipe and different ways she does it. I'm not gonna give anything away.
Well, I'm not getting the secret recipe, is what you're telling me.
Excuse me?
I ain't getting the secret recipe, is what you're telling me.
No, I'm sorry, man.
Worth a shot.
I would only hope, right?
Don't want to ruin your business model.
Right? But yeah, she anyone that wants some, actually the holidays are coming up, so this is like perfect time to actually buy a jar of awesome, crunchy, delicious peanut brittle. And actually, really quick, the funny thing is, and by funny I mean awesome, is that her tagline is "It doesn't stick." And it doesn't stick because the way she makes it, it just, when you chew it and stuff, it's like nice and crunchy. I almost describe it like a crunch bar. It's like nice and crunchy, but then it just melts in your mouth and it's just all nice and delicious. And it does not stick to your teeth. I have witnessed it numerous times at the Veg Fest that me and my girlfriend went to help support her. And I got numerous testimonials, so that could probably happen right now if I want to. But anyway, yeah, everyone said like they don't stick in everything, and it's delicious. There's a original and a peppermint flavor. I hope she's still doing that one too, because that was delicious. I'm sure she is. But yeah, if you go to www.mybrittle.com, and then at checkout, put in the promo code DRINKSUST, and you could get a small discount from listening to me. Yay! So yeah, and it also
look it up after this.
What happened?
I'm gonna look it up after this. That sounds good.
I'll send you the link after this. Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, dude, she actually sells out. Like, she's been doing it for about a year now, but like before she like really launched her business and everything, she was like selling out like crazy. So I mean, I'm sure she's still selling out like crazy right now. So yeah, guys, whoever, all you listeners, all you awesome people out there, please support my friend Casey, and also go support Haus Brewery because they make amazing drinks. So yeah, for my brittle, just enter the promo code DRINKSUST at checkout. You can get a small discount and get it for a lovely friend, significant other, or relative. All right, cool, awesome. Enjoy what we're about to do. Sweet. All right, cool. All right, so I'm sure you've been hearing a lot in the news about the wildfires in California.
Oh, have we ever, right?
I mean, I'm not sure. I just wanted to ask, because I mean, it's been all over the news anyway.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's something.
Yeah, and I really hope that everyone out there that actually lives out there such as a lot of celebrities. One coming to mind, Joe Rogan. I hope his family's okay, but I just hope everyone's okay. Um, and I really hope that they contain these fires, like, and get them out. But shout out to California forests. I hope we can get them out. Extinguish the fires and then rebuild after. What have you been hearing about that?
So I've been hearing a lot, and so just to start, I mean, it is crazy to think that the second and third largest wildfires in California history are burning at the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if like they've got those two under control, but as of like, a few days ago, second, third largest ever, one time, same time. Crazy.
Oh my
So
God.
what I've been thinking about this is I've been obviously trying to keep up to date with the news on it because, I got plenty of friends out in San Fran and like Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, all that. Thinking of them, and who doesn't love California? It's beautiful out there. Maybe
I
not
still
right
have yet
now,
to
but,
go, but I'm making my way over there.
you'll love it, man. But I like what I've really come to think about is that this is a great look at how public health and environmentalism are intertwined. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I'm going to give you a little scoop here that I'm going to be coming out with a new article pretty soon. Premiering the title you first. It's going to be talking about how public health and environmentalism are related in the California wildlife through the California prison inmate fire squads. And this is something I've been reading a lot about. So
Really?
yeah, California actually relies on prison inmate fire squads to help put out fires. And it's apparently a really big community thing. And it's like a great bonding thing for the prisoners. And it gives them, it's like one of the activities that you can do. And they fight side by side with regular California firefighters whenever wildfires are
Oh,
called.
I think I actually heard about that.
Yeah, and they're sent into some of the most dangerous wildfires out there. But right now, California wildfires, this is the season, as is every year, right? I mean, it's just a seasonal thing, even when global warming wasn't as bad as it is now. But this season particularly, we're dealing with the coronavirus pandemic with COVID-19. And because of the quarantine restrictions, the prison inmate fire squads have been unable to help out and fight fires, which is only so you're cutting off a huge section of the amount of people who can fight fires in California because, not every guy on the street, it's a skill. You can't just, me and
Can't
you
just be
just
like, hey, here you go, have fun.
throw on some water, these are some of the biggest fires in the country. There's real skill and science that goes into it, and you really need to be trained in. Both, regular California firefighters and prison inmate squads are trained intensively to do this work. But I mean, you're thinking of fighting the biggest season ever with one arm tied behind your back in that sense. So that's something that I really want to explore about how, in this specific case, this is a perfect example about how public health and environmental health are intersected, and it's only intensified because of the coronavirus, and it's only going to intensify in the future because if we are going to survive, public health has to equate to environmental health. And
yes.
Initiatives on both sides, whether it's medical initiatives through our complex medical system or environmental initiatives in any way, shape, or form, they have to play off each other almost. So that's something I'm looking forward to getting into when I get some free time coming up soon.
Sweet. Let's check that out, guys. Check it out. I'll put your website link in the description too later when I upload everything.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, of course. I gotta give you a huge shout out. Yo, guys, everyone, his website is actually really good. It's awesome. Yeah, so the California wildfires is a huge topic, and yet also what I wanted to do with this show was actually like, since when I was reading a lot of your website, I've like been doing a fair amount of digging so far. And one thing that actually really spoke to me was that like you actually have like I guess a positive facts section, and I read all of those and I'm like, wow, this is actually kind of refreshing.
Yeah, so if I may talk about that for a few seconds,
Floor is yours.
you know, there's a thing, and I learned this from one of my graduate school classes. It was an energy psychology class, which is like pretty really interesting niche. It was taught by the best professor I ever had in grad school at Chicago. Her name's Kim Wolski. She's also a University of Michigan alum, so maybe I'm slightly biased, but she was incredible because she was a real realist with environmental issues. She's one of those people that, you know, first day of class, she starts talking about everything. And she's like, look, in this class, we're going to learn how you can get people to shift their perspectives on environmentalism and energy issues. And she's like, as much as you want to say, like, recycle this bottle, like, that's not going to cut it in the long run. And her being like that real, and she's like, but if you can convey messages to people and frame messages in a way that they can save money on their utility bill and reduce their carbon emissions over 30 years, that's way more impactful than, if you forgot to recycle your water bottle today. And she's like, and that's the thing that's not talked about enough. And when she said that, I was like, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is how you're making big, wide scale change. So that stuff really spoke to me. So there's a thing in psychology called normative messaging, and it's how we convey and frame information. And normative messaging can be done in a positive or negative manner. Like, think a glass half empty or a glass half full. It's the way you frame how you're looking at how much beer I have left.
Running low.
It's a great phrase because you depending on how you can look at the same thing in two different ways. So what I learned from Professor Wolski in this class is studies have shown that specifically for environmentalism and climate change, having too many negative messages like the world is burning and it's irreparable damage and everything like that causes people to have like a sense of helplessness, and they're unlikely to act because they're like, oh, like, what can I do? Like, like framing it as such a dire thing, it doesn't rally people. Like, people just get deflated. But counterbalance that is studies have also shown that too many positive messages, such as like everything is proving, we're doing better, we're fine, it compels people to become complacent and also not do anything. So you see the kind of predicament this is. So the main takeaway is that to convey climate change in a way that gives people the most, that kind of resonates with them the most in a way to take action, is to give a healthy dose of balancing positive and negative messages. So a lot of my website, I talk about a lot of serious topics like, water shortages or the Flint water crisis or, burning Amazon forest. But I also want to balance that with positive messages, which is how I decided to keep that section, which is basically just a running list of like great things that have kind of happened in the environment, like however small, however big, because, like I said, I don't want to just keep putting out these like kind of hopeless type articles, which is why I always, that's why I always, at the bottom of my articles, I try and show people like how they can do, what actions they can do, ways they can get involved, but also this own section dedicated to positive environmentalism facts. This way that people, they're like, hey, oh, maybe this is bad, but also, look, here's how I can get involved, and here's some good that's happening, just to keep people motivated like that. So that's how it got around, and that's why I keep it on there. And I'm really wanting to update it today because of, I don't know if you saw in California with Governor Gavin Newsom, he signed into a bill, legislation that they're not allowing any gasoline-powered cars after 2035 to be sold.
Nice.
So that's going up on the website tonight.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
that's
definitely.
Yeah.
What?
That's a huge step that they're going to stop. You can't sell electric cars and not electric. You can't sell gasoline
Yes.
and diesel cars in California after 2035. The old ones will be grandfathered in, but from then on, it's only electric cars or other means,
Right.
fuels or whatever it may be, but it can't be gas.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be great for Tesla and who is it? Rivian.
Yes.
Well, Tesla's huge. Like everyone knows about Tesla, but I actually don't even know if anyone knows about Rivian. They're kind of like a underdog, like kind of under the carpet kind of thing, where they're like they don't have as much publicity.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard someone talking about Rivian very recently, and you're the second person to mention it to me in like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude.
I wish I
Actually,
remembered how I thought.
you should definitely check Rivian out, and then maybe put an article together for that.
Yeah.
Especially to tie it into California and no gasoline powered cars in 2035.
Absolutely.
There you go. You're welcome.
You're my new creative source.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that really goes into electric vehicles. I mean, it's not as simple as they may seem.
Well, no, definitely not.
But it's a step in the right direction.
No, yeah, it definitely is, and I'm actually once I get one of my things checked off my list, I do want to really because was it two episodes ago with William Wenke. Check that one out too, by the way. We were talking about solar and electric, and because he's a senior electrician at NJ Solar Power. Mm-hmm. So if you ever want solar on your house, let me know. And he was talking about how since all these solar panels are going on the roofs and stuff, and we have a huge we pretty much have like a huge method of waste problem that we produce so much waste and yet we don't really know what to do with it. So I'm trying to make a plan of how to fix that issue. So
yeah, and especially you bringing up that New Jersey is making a push to definitely have more renewable energy sources in the mix, and that's the really key takeaway that I always find with electric vehicles is you really should get an electric vehicle only if you live in a state whose energy mix is substantially renewables. Because like California is a perfect example. They're doing that because like they get like 30, 40, I don't know off the top of my head, but they get a huge portion of their electricity from renewable energy.
They do, yeah.
So like when you plug in your Tesla, you're plugging in clean energy into your Tesla. When you think about West Virginia, which gets 98% of their energy from coal, you plug your Tesla into that, it's actually, in a place like West Virginia, it is actually worse to own an electric vehicle because you have to think about it this way. When you fill up at the gas tank, that's just one transfer of energy. You transfer gasoline, combust in your engine. But with an electric car, you have to, you get the energy from the power source, which is then transmitted through power lines and such.
Right.
So in like West Virginia, the energy goes from a coal plant, so it's combusting the coal there into electricity. And then you have to transmit the electricity through the power lines, which in transmission, you lose a huge amount of energy. Just, it's an inefficient process. Electricity is only about 50% efficient, roughly. So you lose a huge amount of energy and have to plug that into your car. So you actually need to get more energy, and you're getting it all from coal for your electric vehicle.
Well, that's great. But well, that may be, but also, I mean, if the select portion of the U.S. has, I guess the solar roofs from Tesla, or who is it? Solar City now. Tesla
Yes.
owns Solar City, right?
And I should have clarified my statement that if your home already has solar power, you're fine. Like in West Virginia, if you're solar powered, you're good. I mean, if you're just
I was gonna say if you have like a solar storage unit to store all that energy, then yeah, you're fine. But what you're saying is if you have a house like just like the common man without a solar system or anything like that, then yes, it's less efficient than having your own power source right there.
Yeah,
Correct me
just
if I'm
like,
wrong.
no, that's exactly what I mean. Like, if you're just like, the average Joe in West Virginia who doesn't have like solar panels and buys an electric car, it's actually worse for the environment instead of just, doing the one energy transfer just through gasoline. But, if you live in Kansas and, you have solar panels, or you get a huge amount from wind, or you have like your own micro wind field, your own like small miniature wind farm, or like a micro hydroelectric dam, like you're good to go for a Tesla and stuff. It's just it's just knowing about where you get your electricity before you buy the Tesla or an electric vehicle. That would be my message about it.
Yeah, just being a little bit more conscientious of how this is coming to you, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, just like going back to how your former professor was talking about framework. I mean, marketing agencies and just broadcasting stations in general, like everyone's been selling the whole idea of convenience.
Absolutely.
And if we're talking about framework here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, convenience has been the central part of marketing for what, 10, 20 years now, at least.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's also, you have to frame it as, unfortunately, what's good for you. And this is kind of where public health comes in too. It's like, I'll give an example from your home area of New Jersey. Like, let's say, they're putting up a big manufacturing plant of whatever right on the Jersey shore. And then, Clean Water Action guy knocks on your door 3 times and asks you to sign a petition, like the average Jersey Shore guy to sign a petition saying, and he tells them, hey, look, this manufacturing plant is going to kill 2,000 seagulls a year, and it's going to dump wastewater into the ocean, and that can have a negative effect on the seaweed there. I'm just making this stuff up. I don't know.
yeah.
But some guy is probably gonna be like, well, I don't know. I don't really care about the seagulls, like I don't have a personal stake in the seagulls. Like, I don't,
Seagulls are really annoying. They annoy my beach going experience. So
yeah, it doesn't resonate with their core values and like what they want in life and who they are, and it doesn't strike a nerve with them. So that's why you can frame this same way, knock on the door 3 times and say, hey, they're building a new manufacturing plant on the Jersey Shore. Did you know that the pollution from this manufacturing plant, that studies have shown that you will have an increased likelihood of COPD, asthma, coronary heart disease, and potentially earlier than expected death due to the lower air quality that will be in your backyard. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, like, I don't want my kids to grow up with asthma, or like I'm conscientious, like I want to have an early death because of that. You have to hit their values and stuff like that with your messaging. Like, that's way more effective than saying something. But then you can throw in, like, on top of that, the wildlife stuff. Like when you buy a car, or a washer machine, because we're talking a lot about energy efficiency. It's the same deal when you're trying to buy the new washer machine. What's the first thing people look for? It's like
money tag.
It's the price of the washing machine. And
price of the washer, and then if it actually works for a long period of time or not.
Yeah, that's
like the ergonomics.
No one walks into like your Lowe's or something and goes, I'm looking for the most energy efficient washer. Most people who aren't like me and you're just, average guys in the street aren't well versed in this material. Like, I want a cheap, reliable washing machine, and if it's energy efficient, that's great. That's an add-on,
Right.
So it's all about how you frame it. But if you frame it saying, hey, this energy efficient washer, while it's slightly more of an upfront cost, it will last the same time, but over time, you'll have a lower utility bill for the next 10 years because it uses less energy. and all of a sudden you're thinking money, and then it's like, oh wow, if we invest a little bit more right now, we're going to save a lot in the future, and
Right.
it's just as reliable. So you can see just like this whole class that the Professor Wolski taught really opened up my eyes to like how we convey our messages in terms of climate change and energy efficiency and all that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Wow. And this professor was a male or female?
Female.
Oh, you said miss. Okay. Yeah, she sounds like she was a former salesman or something like that.
Yeah. She was a PhD, but she just I don't know. She's one of the smartest people I ever met. So I really like taking what I learned from her and talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to her. Woohoo! Shout out. All right. So we are going to take a short break one more time, and then we're going to really dive more into the positive fun facts from your website. Cool? Awesome. All right, guys, we will be right back in 3.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching The Drink Sustainability. Warning. As you watch the show, be sure to clink at your own risk. Drinks may not appear the way that they seem.